Welcome to Beth Roars, where we look at your favourite singers to find out what makes them them. This one is a patron vote winner, and it is the theme of everything electronic, and of course Björk came up, and I mean she has such a delightfully unique voice, and let's give her a listen.
Please welcome Björk, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my goodness, I love dramatic strength. They're so 90s as well. We need more of that now in our music. Okay, so there's really interesting things. I've been reading about her recently, and actually she had a nodule, a vocal nodule for years and years and years, and she tried to deal with it by eating well, making sure things weren't too acidic. Often acid reflux can make things feel a lot worse. But what could have contributed to that sound? Now, there are some things that she's doing really well, and some things that are quite harsh on her voice right here. So you can see her jaw is nice and relaxed. She's really open. Her tongue is forward. She's creating a lot of space, I suspect, at the back of her mouth. Yet the one harsh thing is how she is starting each note. There's a lot of vowels in this. This little sound. Now, actually, this can be quite helpful for some people to help them get chord closure. It's called a glossal stop, or to help you get a bit of a punch. But if you do it every single time, it's quite harsh on your poor old vocal cords. It slams them together. So that may have been a little bit of a contributing factor there. Also, her unique voice, a lot of it is down to her singing in her accent. She's keeping the placement of her accent, and that is really coming through.
Drink me, make me feel real. Wet your beak and stream. Game we're playing is life. Love's a two-way dream.
So you can also hear how she does this thing where she chops up everything. Now, the normal way of singing it, keeping it all smooth and legato and joining it all up, every single syllable is really separate. It has this kind of robot-y feel. My version was not as beautiful as hers. But you know what I mean. Oh, see, that's interesting. Return! She goes and creates that big space. It's a really dopey sort of low larynx space to make a big warm sound. Then makes a smaller space, a really different size space in her mouth to flip up to her head voice and give you that kind of thin, breathy sound, thin falsetto-y sound.
Tide will show.
So that was all that smaller space.
If you forget my name, you will go astray, like a killer wave, trapped in a fight. I'm a path of sin.
Can you hear how much she's using that that really kind of harsh start? And as I say, it's not bad if you start a little bit, like maybe like a couple of notes. But if she's singing this song over and over and over with that sound, it can be really harsh.
Burning under your feet. You're the one who wants me. I'm your one-way street. I'm a whisper in a water, secret for you to hear.
So you can see how she really opens those vowels. This is good general technique. A lot of people do this here instead of here, and closing here. And she's morphing the vowels to like an ah sound a lot in this. However, she does play with the nasality that you get with closing it. So she'll be like na na na, that kind of more narrow voice, a wider vowel, a little bit of nasality, and then the warmth on here. That really, really warms it.
You're the one who grows this thing. When I beckon you near, return to this. Tide will show you soon. If you forget
Even there.
my name, you will go astray like a killer whale trapped in a fight.
So she actually does an interesting thing, which I often guard against, but it's actually because she's opening her mouth so much. So like, whale. She goes all the way through. She closes her mouth halfway through the note instead of whale. And then the really quickly at the end, which is normally what people do. Whale. It kind of cuts off that volume, makes it get quieter towards the end, changes the kind of resonance of the vowel, so it kind of loses that resonance, and you get this kind of swell and diminuendo.
I'm a tree that grows high.
Grows.
One for each that you take. Surely into the sun. I'm the branch that you break.
Hey, nice. That was a nice mix. So even up here, she is approaching those mixes really well. She's got a balanced mix, a nice cross between head and chest voice, so you're not getting kind of a pushy sound, yet she's still adding all those glottals, interestingly. And I wonder if that is something that she's changed. I know she's actually recently had surgery, and she said that it was the best thing ever. Her voice now is much more stable, and she feels much more in control of it since having surgery. And I think that it obviously was fairly bad at one point, her nodules. It's so primal though. There is no doubt that she evokes something so emotional within me, certainly. And I love how she fuses like natural sounds with electronic sounds and her unusual way of singing as well. And I wonder. I know this was much more of a like, oh, I wonder how that affected her issues in terms of her vocal nodules, but she, at the end of the day, is an amazing and inventive artist, and I am so glad that she sings for us. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Rawr.